Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting for the city of San Juan at 6 p.m. May we rise for invocation? Mr. Orjona, can you lead us, sir?
Bow our heads, dear Father, we thank you for the opportunity together this day. May everything we do begin with your inspiration and continue with your help. We ask for your guidance throughout this meeting, that all of our thoughts and actions reflect your holy will, and you would only grant us the grace to make the best decision for our city. We pray in Jesus' name, amen.
Flag for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May be seated. At this time, under public comments, I'm going to go ahead and call Mr. Allen.
Commissioners, we have a presentation on Foxtail Cottage Development by Ms. Alma and Ms. Stephanie. This is a potential development. You can come to the podium. Here within the city.
Do you guys have a copy of our
No, we don't.
development? Okay, we can write you with that.
My name is Tiffany Cornelius, and this is Alma Cobbin. We're with Realtex Development Corporation, and we're here on behalf of Foxtail Cottages.
Foxtail's Cottage.
So we have a site on Eldora Road. It's 16.29 acres, and we are in the process of submitting an application to TDHCA for state funding for a mixed income development. And then, as you can see on the development narrative, it's going to be as a proposed 88-unit new construction mixed income development with ranging from different 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom units. The 1-bedroom will range in rents from $257 to $800 a month. The 2-bedroom, 1-bath will be $304 to $930, and the 3-bedroom, 2-bath is $345 to $1150. The property will have a sizable clubhouse, a maintenance building, and a mail kiosk, as well as a resort-style swimming pool, a fully furnished fitness center, gazebos and barbecue areas, a kids' playground, a dog park, and a walking area, and it'll be fully fenced with gated access, as well as covered parking.
We are here to ask the City of San Juan to give us their support so we can move forward with the resolution and move forward with our development, as this will provide families in the community of San Juan to have a better quality of living.
And the type of financing that we're applying for through the state agency is very competitive. And as of right now, we're tied with among I believe like 5 other applications. And without the resolution of support from the city, we would not have a competitive application.
Basically, this is kind of like affordable homes, pretty much. Or
As well as it's some affordable units as well as some market rate units, conventional units.
now, as far as, have you guys developed anything here locally?
Yes.
Where?
Donna, Texas.
Uh-huh.
We have properties in Donna, Texas. We have properties in West Laco and Alamo as well.
Okay.
And Realtex is it's a 22-year-old company. It started with just development, and now it's a fully integrated company. Elma is our vice president of management, and so we do everything in-house. That way we can control everything. We keep a really tight reins when it comes to management and all the kinds of screenings that goes along with that.
So when you say screening, are you talking about running background checks on
Correct.
each
Yes.
tenant and stuff like that?
Yes, and that's the reason why we created the management part to our company, because we like to take pride in what we built and pride in the communities where we build these communities. So, the only way for us to have any type of control is for us to be managing our own properties, our own deals.
there any other anything that y'all may be having on top of that, like?
We do have
Travel
some,
forefront.
we don't have restrictions, we have income guidelines, I'm sorry. We do have a very tight, qualifications to when the people come and qualify, we just don't allow anyone just to move in, you know? They have to qualify by our guidelines. But other than that, that's about it.
Kind of like, is it like a first come, first served basis type of deal?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
And all of our developments around Texas have always had a waiting list. And then as we're able to, people move out, we're able to work our way down the list as people qualify.
So you guys do work hand in hand with like the housing authorities and stuff like
Yes.
that? So,
we
because
do.
I know for a fact that there is a list still, of residents waiting
Right.
for, and this would be a good opportunity for
Right.
them to.
Absolutely, yes, yes. There is a crisis, not only in Texas, but in the US, and the more and more, rents keep going higher, and unfortunately, there's not enough affordable housing. And this is why we are wanting to build affordable housing, so we can provide these communities for these people that cannot afford the higher rents.
Great. Good, good. Okay. Any other questions, gentlemen? You good? You good? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Juan.
The next item on the presentations, tonight we have a presentation of departmental reports. We have Department of Planning and Zoning, Department of Sanitation, San Juan Memorial Library, Department of Parks and Recreation. Everybody's here available should you have any questions. But before we start, Mayor Commissioners, I'd just like to point out that first, we have a groundbreaking ceremony that will be taking place this Saturday at 11:30 a.m. right next to HEB, where we're going to be groundbreaking for HEB, Taco Palenque, Wing Barn, AT&T, and also a Smile Magic. This is a dentist that will be here with us. There's many others, however, they haven't finalized the contract on the other tenants. But it's open to the whole public, something new, something for the City of San Juan, whereas we've been waiting for this developments to take place. So finally, they're coming over. Taco Palenque will be here again, Wing Barn. So that's one of them. The other one is that we've been talking about the Stewart Road as far as the speed limit and also the school zone. They have completed the study, the speed study. They're saying that they're going to be able to reduce the speed limit on Stewart Road. And also they're going to be working on the school zone. More than likely what they're going to do, they're going to make it a little bit longer than what it is. And also on top of that, they're also working on 495 where, what's the school between Veterans and Cesar Chavez, where Isaguirre Middle School, Garza Peña Elementaries are located. They're also going to be working on the school zone and also reducing the speed limit on those two corridors. Other than that, also we have a meeting with the sidewalk people that we're working on with City of FAR, TxDOT, City of San Juan, and also Alamo. So we'll be getting together with them to finalize the details as to when the project is gonna get started. And they'll be taking place more than likely next week. Okay. Well, we have these departmental directors here available. Should you have any questions for them?
Questions for the directors, right, this time? No? Good. Let me see. No? Mr. Willingham, in reference to the Parks and Rec, right now, are we still registering, are we registering for baseball right now?
Correct.
Basketball, it's already, the season started already, is that correct?
Last night, second half of the season, which is boys. Basketball, girls soccer starts Saturday. It started this week, yes.
As far as soccer, can they still register, or is it a little too late, or?
It's pretty, yeah, if there's a slot available, the only thing is uniform available. Everything's pretty much rolling at this point.
No, that's good.
How about the fields? How are we doing on the fields?
Municipal?
A lot of construction there.
Yeah, construction's going. The south field, they've completed framing it, the infield, and they've started the trenching for the drainage. I spoke to the contractor. South field should be pretty close to being done by the end of the month, and then the north field by the end of March, early April.
So we're looking.
April 3rd is the day they're looking, is the target date to turn it over to the city.
And for the record, this is on turf in the infield and natural grass in the outfield, is that correct?
It'll be artificial turf in the infield and all natural,
With-
and
with-
and a
with the
new
irrigation
sprinkler system
system.
as well.
in-
Yes.
in there. Good.
At the next meeting, Mayor Commissioners, I just want to say that we're going to be doing a status report on that, on the parks, and also we're going to bring the video with the time-lapse camera that we have, and we're going to show it at the next meeting.
Any other questions for the directors?
Sir, if I may,
Go ahead, sir.
Mr., I guess this, for Mr. Willingham and the chief, what is the status on the, PAL? When do we predict it to start?
Should, by the end of this month, we should be ready to submit to National PAL. I'm just finishing up the articles of incorporation, and then we'll get with the city attorney to make sure it's all approved. So we should be, our goal is to be submitting by the end of the month for full acceptance to the national PAL.
How long does that process take after you? submit?
Shouldn't be very long after that. Once they receive all our paperwork and we get their approval, I talked to the national office, it should be a couple weeks after that.
So what sports are you planning to move under the PAL program?
Right now, track and field and boxing,
Okay. Good.
which boxing would be a new sport that we
Yeah,
would add.
Correct.
But those are the two that we are looking at just this summer.
Mr. Willingham, and that PAL league is also to benefit other sports that have to do with youth, no?
Yes. As we go, and as Chief would like to add, we can add as many or as little as we want to the program.
But it's
Yes.
not only for sports, it can be used for other
Yes,
activities.
there's other programs, community outreach programs,
Yeah,
mentorship programs that we'll be looking at as well
Cool.
for the youth.
Another question real quick. Roel Garza's not here right now, but are we gonna, an update on maybe looking into or starting the studies about, for our trash, the pickup? Remember, we're gonna start doing that, we discussed at the last
Yes.
meeting?
We did, we're just finalizing the numbers
Okay.
as to how much more it would cost the city to do a full second round. Or the other option would be maybe consider, a second container to the
No, we had
residents.
considered something that Mr. Sanchez brought up as far as maybe start rolling it out slowly, cost effective, maybe just doing after holidays or certain days like that.
That is correct, and that's another thing that we're looking at, maybe like right after the holidays, or, you know, when they're supposed to be scheduled after the holidays to do another round, just for those days, right?
Any other questions? Not, we'll go ahead and move on. Go ahead, sir.
Under public hearing, we have, the first one is hold a public hearing for conditional use permit to allow My Party Venue Event Center in a commercial area located at 654 East Nolana Avenue, Suite Number 2, legally described as Lot 4A and 4B, Wolverine subdivision, as requested by Ricardo Sanchez. Mr. Escobar?
Mayor, Commissioners, a conditional use permit for My Party Venue Event Center. You'll start seeing a lot of event centers coming on because they actually have to get a conditional use permit for any event center. So you'll start seeing more on the agendas. This is located on Raul Longoria and Nolana Avenue. It's east on Nolana. It's an existing event center plaza in that area. It's submitted by Ricardo Sainz. They did submit the application. They paid the fees. We also sent out the newspaper advertisements. We also sent the letters within the 20-foot radius to the residents. There's photos as well as the zoning map. It's under C2 general business, which does allow for event centers. The conditions that they have: no selling of alcohol because they didn't apply for a TBC. They have to have off-street parking. They have to comply with the noise ordinance. You know, sometimes event centers get loud, so they have to meet the noise ordinance requirements. Also, install security cameras, and they also have to get their conditional use permit, occupational license, and health permit if they're going to sell food, and then comply with the no smoking ordinance. So it's in a public
And so
hearing.
they're good with that?
Yeah, they're good
With all those?
Yes, and the Planning and Zoning Commission did approve this as well.
Okay. All right, let me go ahead and open this up. At this time, I'm gonna go ahead and open at 6:20 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions from the members of the commission? If not, I'll go ahead and close this at 6:20 PM. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
The next item, hold a public hearing for conditional use permit to allow Sebastian Event Center in a commercial area located at 2211 South Veterans Boulevard, Suite Number 10, legally described as Lot 3, Hacienda Palm subdivision, as requested by Paola Guzman.
This is located on I Road and Moore Road. It's an existing Event Center. It's located where that plaza is at, where the Stripes is located at. There's an event center and a plaza right south of that. So it did submitted by Paulo Guzman. They did submit the application, paid the fees. We also sent out the newspaper advertisement, as well as sent out the letters on 200-foot radius. There's also photos, a zoning map. It's also C2 general business, which is allowed event centers. So they have the same conditions, no selling of alcohol, off-street parking, they have to comply with the noise ordinance, install security cameras, and they also have to have their conditional use, occupational license, health permit, and also comply with the no smoking ordinance. So they're just reapplying for that because they didn't submit the application in time.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up at 6:21 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions from the members of the commission? Yeah, it was a 6-0, unanimous. Right? With that being said, I'll go ahead and close this at 6:21 PM. Is there a motion approved? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, hold a public hearing for conditional use permit to allow the Hall Event Center in a commercial area located at 502 North Veterans Boulevard Suite E, legally described as Night South 125.50 feet of the west 196 feet of lot 15, block 5 SJTR, and west 196 feet of lot 1, as requested by Maria L. Santos.
This is also conditional use permit for the Hall Event Center here on I Road, north of First Street. So it's that new plaza that was built off of I Road, north of First Street. I'm sure you guys have seen it, so it's really nice. The applicant is Maria El Santos. They did submit the application, paid the $300 fee. We also did send out the newspaper advertisement, as well as sent letters within 20-foot radius. There's also photos and a zoning map as well, and it's also C2 general business. Yeah, same conditions: no selling of alcohol, off-street parking. They have to comply with the noise ordinance, install security cameras, and get their conditional use, occupational and health permit, and comply with the no smoking ordinance. So this is a public hearing. If somebody has any comments, they can do that.
This time, I'm gonna go ahead and open it up at 6:23 PM. Is there anyone here or against? For or against? Any questions from the members of the commission? If not, I'll go ahead and close this at 6:23 PM. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item, hold a public hearing for conditional use permit to allow gala events in a commercial area located at 905 West First Street, Suites A and B, legally described as lot number 2, BT number 1 subdivision, and requested by Veronica Cortez.
There's also a conditional use permit, Gala Event Center. It's located on I Road and south of First Street, to where the EDC Plaza is at. The EDC is located at. They did submit the application. Veronica Cortez paid the fees. We also did send out the newspaper advertisement, as well as send the letters within 20-foot radius. There's also the photos, as well as the zoning map. It's currently C2 general business. On this one, there's actually already an existing event center. It's kind of more for kids parties, but this one is going to be, kind of near that event center. So parking was kind of looked at, but there should be enough parking for both of those. And in the future, let's say there might be some issues with parking, we could always revoke the conditional use permit if there's issues in the future, because every year they have to renew.
This time, I'm gonna open this up at 6:24 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions from the commission? If not, I'll go ahead and close it at 6:24 PM. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next one is hold a second public hearing for the voluntary annexation petition of the proposed Cesar Heights subdivision, being 1.61 acre tract of land out of Lot 4, Block 27, Alamo Lake and Sugar Company subdivision, as per map recording in Volume 1, pages 24 to 26, map records, Hidalgo County, Texas, located approximately a quarter of a mile south of Moore Road along the west side of Cesar Chavez Road.
Mayor Commissioner, so this is a voluntary annexation petition. We have our first public hearing, so this is the second public hearing that's required. We're supposed to have 2 public hearings and then 2 first readings. We do send out the letters to all the agencies that's required. So this is just the second public hearing for this. And once it does become annexed, then they're gonna submit a plat for this location. So this is a public hearing if the public has any questions.
I'm gonna go ahead and open this up at 6:25 PM. Is there anyone here for or against? For or against? Any questions from the members of the commission? No? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and close this at 6:26 PM. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Ordinances, we have a discussion and possible action on proposed ordinance to amend the city's codes of ordinances to repeal the Article 5.04 Fire Department of Chapter 5, Fire Prevention and Protection, and amend the Chapter 9 Personnel, Article 9.03 Police Department. As you remember, this is it says, an ordinance by the City Commission of the City of San Juan repealing the Article 5.04 Fire Department of Chapter 5, Fire Prevention and Protection, and amending the Chapter 9 Personnel, Article 9.03 Police Department by removing Section 9.03.002 Categories of Pay and adding Articles 9.04 Fire Department, wherein classified positions and additional categories of pay for the fire department shall be codified, and to clarify that such additional categories of pay are applicable only to firefighters having civil service protection pursuant to Section 143.021 of the Texas Local Government Code, providing for effective date, providing for a publication, providing for a severability clause, and providing for codification, and providing for a repealer clause. And the ordinance is right in front of you with a CBA agreement that was passed last year's agreement.
When was that passed again, sir?
It was at this is the fire department, which was last year.
Last year.
Yes.
What month that one? Do you know?
Ms. Cordero, you recall that? When the CBA was passed?
I was just curious, huh? August, right?
August, September, something like that, Mayor.
Okay. All right.
And this will identify exactly who's under civil service and who's not under civil service.
It's a clarification, and actually we organized, some of the sections were not within the fire department, section. The classifications were in the police department, so basically we just cleaned it up and got it all under the one section, and also further clarified who qualified and who didn't qualify on it.
Ready. Any questions for Mr. Arjona at this time? Not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Under appointments, consider removal and appointments of the board members related to the City of San Juan Civil Service Board. Mayor, on this one, Mayor, if we can maybe table it to the next meeting. We have a city secretary that wasn't here today, so we don't know how many applications were submitted. So I'll ask that we table it for the next meeting.
So you do, some individuals submit through online and then they also drop off hard copies, right?
Exactly, so I don't know which of the ones that she has in her possession. She's on vacation since yesterday and today, so I couldn't get into her office and look into her files, see who applied.
Good. Okay, with that being said, is there a motion to table? Huh?
Let the motion table?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so move.
Is there a second? I'll go ahead and second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Next item on the discussion and possible action is preliminary and final plat approval of the Valley Range subdivision being 23.70 acre record land out of Lot 6, Block 27, Alamo Land Insurance Company subdivision, located approximately a quarter of a mile west of Cesar Chavez Road, along the north side of Whole Acres Road, as requested by Quintanilla, Hitley, and Associates. Mr. Escobar?
Mayor, Commissioner, this is located west of Cesar Chavez Road and Hall Acres on the north side. This is actually a property that's in the city's ETJ. It's actually not in the city limits at this time. The applicant is OC Development LTD. It's a 39-lot residential subdivision. City staff, city engineer did review it. For the utilities, the sewer is, actually the water, I'm sorry, is Military Highway Water Supply Corporation. They're going to install an 8-inch water line. Sewer, they're actually going to build a lift station in that location, so it's going to be built by the developer. Sidewalks will be installed at the building permit stage. We'll be installing the street lights, fire hydrants. They did dedicate utility easements, as well as drainage will be reviewed by the Hidalgo County Drainage District. The only issue is that they're asking for 2 variances due to the shape of the property. The way it's shaped won't allow them to have 2 exits, so they're asking for a variance on a secondary exit from the subdivision. And there's also another variance which is for the variance to the loop of the water line. Military Highway has different requirements in the city, So they're not able to loop it because of the military highway regulations. So they're asking for that variance as well. So those two variances. And I believe that is here as well, if he has any comments on that. On this one, the Planning and Zoning Commission did approve it.
They did?
Yes.
What was it? Was it I'm trying to, what was it turn out on the vote?
It was just that, no problem with the looping of the water, right? Like, so,
Yeah, it was just the secondary exit.
and that's because of the shape, correct? I mean.
The-
They're requesting for only one entrance?
For one entrance, yes. On Hall
okay.
Acres.
Chief, Garza, party chief. Yes, sir. What do we have under codes for the city of San Juan or some ordinance on entrances for subdivisions?
It all depends on the future development of the property. Would there be a secondary or future development, but as far as that, there's currently being submitted as a one entrance.
Currently?
At the time, currently, yes, sir.
Okay, so we can go ahead and do that, and at a later time, the future development, that you can have an access added on or
That's
into that,
correct.
right, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it wouldn't be a problem if we have future development around that. Is that correct?
You know, the feature on future development, let's say if it's a different owner of the property, is he gonna be requested to have only one entrance also, or can he gonna have to have two entrances also?
If somebody develops and they're gonna do a subdivision, the city can require them to connect to that roadway. But that's if
As long as we
somebody
put that in
develops.
provisions.
Well, the reason I'm asking because one entrance on a subdivision is kind of hazardous in case something happens on the main entrance. How are we gonna be able to exit that subdivision? That's the only thing I'm afraid of. For whatever reason, something goes wrong on that entrance. In case of an emergency, how are we gonna exit those people out? That's my call on the safety issue.
Commissioners, Mayor. So what the requirement is most of the time is if you have more than 30 lots, you're required to have two entrances. Because of the proposed subdivision that we have and the way the property is laid out, we only can put in one entrance on the, if you look at the property, you can only put in one entrance. Now, there's an exception to the code that says if there's connectivity to a future development, then you're in compliance. We have two potential possibilities of connecting to the property to the west and also to the property to the south. I've done a lot of subdivisions, and there's possibilities when you can come in and put one entrance. And I'll give you an example now. I'll just draw it out in the air, right? But you come in with a one entrance, and then you go around and you do a situation like that. In those situations, you have an opportunity to put two entrances. But you as a developer, you're choosing to only put one. In this case, where would I put the second entrance? And so I'm not asking for you to overlook the fact that there's another possibility. There's only one possibility to put this entrance. The ordinance, other cities' ordinances are usually around 30 lots. We're at 39 lots. So we're real close to what the requirement is of the maximum amount of lots per one entrance. We're not in Edinburgh, but I'll give you an example of the Edinburgh ordinance. The Edinburgh ordinance allows up to 60 lots in one entrance. And so what they're trying to guard against, or what the fire department guards against, it's not just in San Juan, it's in any city. If there's like an accident or something happens at the entrance, well, you want to have another possibility of being able to enter into the neighborhood. And I understand that, and everybody would want another possibility, right? But when you have a 30-lot subdivision, there's not going to be another possibility, and we're only 39. We're 9 lots more. I have the stub out to the west. I have a stub out to the south, and so I mean I don't know how else I could have drawn it up other than to consider a different layout. We haven't had half-acre lots in San Juan since probably 2002 when I developed Ridge Heights, or when we developed Ridge Heights. So it was just an opportunity to bring something new to the city of San Juan. You're talking about homes that are gonna be valued at 235,000 or more. Just to be able to absorb a half acre lot and the cost of a lot, you're bringing in a high-end subdivision. So, I mean, I don't know how else to do it.
I'd like to add something.
Sure.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Alfonso Quintanilla. I'm the project engineer. And just to add that what's already been said by your staff and Mr. Cantu here as a developer, the requirement for the width of the street as we go in to any new development here in the city is 32 feet wide. On this case, for these reasons, and we are proposing to do a 44 feet wide in the entrance. And we're gonna have like a way in and a way out. So in a way, we are creating, more space for this type of maneuvers. Thank you.
First of all, Commissioner Cantu, thank you so much for being here. Obviously, you're here because you have an agenda item, but as far as your developments, I've seen everything that you've done around the PSJ communities, and it's excellent work. I don't really see, a problem as far as talking about these entrants. Our main concern here as the city of San Juan is we're here to work with everyone who comes our way. And I just feel that this is a great opportunity to contribute to our tax base. You said there were how many half acre lots again, sir?
39.
39? Okay. That's pretty good. And you said the amount of the homes that you're planning, 200 and what?
I would say that the minimum house in there is gonna be in the 230s.
Okay,
So you're gonna have homes from 230 to 300.
good deal.
And
Okay.
Mayor,
Go ahead, sir.
I think the expansion of the entrance and exit makes a huge difference as well. To alleviate some of it for now, you know what I'm saying? And, if that being said, the commission feels that can make.
I understand on this subdivision, I mean, they're gonna be great houses and all that, but my judgment is still, I just say it's the safety of the people. If it, like maybe in the future, you might add on to, or another subdivision is attached to it. What are the chances that we're gonna have a second exit? What are the chances? Don't get me wrong about the houses and all that, but mine is just safety.
I appreciate your comments, Commissioner, and just so that you know, I bought 2 additional properties. Unfortunately, the other property that's connected to my property is not for sale, but I bought the property to the east and I bought the property to the south. And I'm bringing infrastructure to that area. There is no sewer
You're
there.
gonna have property attached to it?
No, because there's a ditch on the east side.
Yeah.
But this project hasn't come, very easily. There's a lot of stuff that I've had to bring in. I'm having to bring in a lift station that's gonna cost like 300,000, which is out of the ordinary for the type of developments that we do. And so, I'm doing the best that I can with what I have.
And like I said, I think another thing that comes to mind is that most, like you said, it's a variance of the cities and stuff. Some cities have more or less, and that's based on policy or what have you, or what's been discussed in the past. So I don't see a problem with it. I think we welcome the development and in my opinion, I choose to move forward with this.
Well, with that being said, I'll go ahead and make it a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. No, I appreciate everything. Thank you.
The next item, preliminary and final plat approval of the Royal Ridge subdivision. I'm sorry.
For the record, just to let you know that my vote was because it's the safety of the people that lives there. I don't see a second exit. I'm afraid that something can happen. So that's why I voted no for that one. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr. Juan.
Yes, preliminary and final plat approval of the Royal Ridge subdivision being a 14.121 acre tract of land out of lot 17, ML Woods property unit number 1, located at the southwest corner of San Antonio Avenue and Ridge Road, is requested by Meldon and Hunt. On this one, I'm sorry, sir, I'd like to maybe take no action on this one, Mayor. because there's additional information that I'd like to, if they're requesting variances, I'd like to maybe make some, bring up some proposals as to see whether it'll be beneficial for the city or not beneficial for the city, and that has not been submitted.
So are we talking about widening the road or
Yes,
what's
sir,
that?
one in the road.
The road, okay, sure.
So I'd like to
at
bring
this
some
time-
proposals and maybe not take no action because there's no proposals in front of us.
Sure, no problem. So at this time, we'll go ahead and take no action. All right? You got it. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes, the next item is preliminary and final plat approval of the Run-By subdivision being 2.94 acre tract of land out of Lot 10, Block 31, Alamo Land Interior Company subdivision located at the southeast corner of Rich and Stewart Roads and requested by Nain Engineering LLC.
So this is a 3-lot residential subdivision. City staff, the city engineer did review it. The currently city wanting the location. They're asking for a variance to allow for septic tanks since the sewer is about 1,700 feet away to a lift station. So asking for a variance to have septic tanks in those 3 lots. There's a fire hydrant located within 500 feet. They have dedicated the utility easements. They've also dedicated additional right-of-way in that location. And also the Hidalgo County Drainage District is reviewing this one. So this is kind of a smaller plat, 3 residential lots. So the 2 variances they're asking for are septic tanks, and for the extension of the water, they're asking to escrow those funds, that money, to install that 8-inch in the future. So they're willing to provide that escrow to the city for to extend the water line. And the Planning and Zoning Commission did approve this one as well, and I believe the engineer is here as well. If there's any questions, yes.
All righty, any questions for Mr. Escobar or the engineer? What, can you state his name for the record? What's?
Your Commissioners, William Guillermo Ratia, the project engineer.
Okay, thank you,
Guillermo
sir. Okay, any questions, gentlemen?
I would just ask, is this only to subdivide or to build homes in there? On that
There's an
subdivision?
existing home there.
This is piece of land the owners, is a family partition.
Right.
He's dividing his property in 3 lots. He
But in the meantime, it's only to subdivide. Okay. So they're gonna be building a home? They're gonna be building 2 additional homes? And see, the only thing that I've got here is that, let's just be aware on the variance that they're requesting is not to extend the sewer, but install septic tanks on those 2 properties. Just wanna make you aware of that.
Any questions? Not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
The next item on the contractuals, considering a local cooperation agreement between the city of San Juan and County of Hidalgo, Texas, to administer the on-site sewage facility. On this one, Mayor, I know we had interlocal agreement already in place back in 2007, 2000 something, or 97, something like that. Well, we had an interlocal, but we couldn't find the actual agreement. So there's a property that is requesting for septic tanks. We cannot allow, I mean, we cannot provide that because we don't provide those services. However, we have to go to the county. The county does have something in writing, but they don't have the actual interlocal agreement. So we're just renewing the interlocal so that we can have it in writing. We can have it on file on the county and on our side as well.
That being said, is there a motion to approve? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
We have a couple of resolutions. The first one is consider a resolution authorizing city manager to submit, accept an application for funding to the Office of the Governor, Homeland Security Division for the City of San Juan Law Enforcement Emergency Regional Response Team Enhancement Project. Chief?
is a commission, our grant writer couldn't be here. He had an emergency at home. So I'm just here to present on the resolutions that he had drafted up for the city. These are resolutions that we're going to be submitted so we can apply for grant funding. And I know that there's other opportunities for grants that we'll be discussing with the city manager and getting his guidance on this and also his blessing to see which grants we're going to be applying for. So over the next couple of meetings, we'll be presenting several resolutions for other grants as well.
You mentioned that, who was in here, the grant writer?
The grant writer,
Who's that?
Hollis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, and there's opportunities already that were submitted to us. Telling Chief this morning that, let's apply for all of them. Yeah.
With that being said, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
The next one is another resolution authorizing submission of an application under the 2021 Local Border Security Program solicitation to the Governor's Office, Homeland Security Grant Division.
That is the same as the resolution. That's standard resolutions that we submit every year. Yes.
Been a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
The next one, consider authorizing city manager to apply and submit a grant application to the Governor's Office Criminal Justice Division.
Same as the other ones. Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Under consent agenda, we have item budget expenditure report from December 2019.
Oh, okay,
It's a
okay. Is there
consent.
anything that, under consent item, do we need to modify or amend under consent item? If not, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under executive session, we have the San Juan City Commission will convene an executive session in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, various Texas statutes and codes annotated, Government Code Chapter 551. There's only one item on executive session.
At this time, it's 6:47 PM, and we will be going executive session. And is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. We're back from executive session at 6:52 PM. Is there a motion to reconvene? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Under executive session A1, I'll go ahead and make the motion for the settlement agreement as discussed in executive session, and that's in the motion.
Second.
It's been second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Is there a second? I'll go ahead and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting has been adjourned at 6:53 PM. Thank you.